Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Luc Makils. I'm the CEO of Karomia. First thing first, I think we have a QR code. If you have questions, I think we should show the QR code, perhaps. So please take the QR code. So if you have questions during my presentation, then you can ask your questions. But I guess let's get started now. So Karomia is a startup that works in the field of preparing ESG reports, so ESG reporting. And what we do is we make it very simple and very easy to prepare reports for companies by using modern technology. So we eliminate the bureaucracy that goes with preparing ESG reports. The star of the day is Belalu. Belalu is a company active in the aluminum industry. What they do is aluminum sheets and aluminum coil for the car industry, the packaging industry, the construction industry as well. They produce 200,000 tons of aluminum per year, so it's not a very big company, but they have a factory, and as you can imagine, they have plenty of ESG challenges. Like, of course, producing aluminum like this takes a lot of energy, so they have questions about their energy mix. Is it sustainable or not? And it's very important for them because if they need to change their energy mix, they need to change equipment, for instance. But they have other questions. They're active in the circular economy as well, because half of their raw material is scrap metal. So, but then the other half of the raw material is also sourced. So they have questions about tracing where the raw material is coming from, making sure that their upstream value chain is also sustainable. And then they have also questions around, they have a factory, questions around their workforce and health and well-being of their workforce working in the factory. So they have plenty of ESG topics to cover. And of course, there is also an increasing demand for high quality ESG data. And first off, the first one who is interested by the data is the company itself. The climate is changing. So for instance, we have had heat waves, floods, and the company is interested by understanding, are they exposed to this? Is their workforce as productive when there is a heat wave? Do they need to make investments in air conditioning or other equipments in that case? Do they have a factory that is exposed to certain physical risks? For instance, are they exposed to regulatory risk as well? So they want to understand where they are in terms of various ESG factors. But of course, they're not the only one interested. And starting with the financial institutions, they are more and more interested in gathering ESG data from their customers, like take the banks, for instance. Well, now they put in their risk management models individual company information, ESG information from individual companies, so they need to go and ask many more questions to their customers than they used to do in the past. That includes a lot of ESG data, but insurance companies are starting to do the same. Investors as well need a lot of information because they want to, of course, invest in companies that are sustainable, that can stay in their portfolio for a long time. So there is a big need for ESG data from the financial institutions, but it doesn't stop there. Of course, there is the regulation as well. In Europe, it's going a bit, back and forth, right? We have had some backpedaling of the regulators in terms of ESG reporting. But then Belalu is also a supplier to major corporations who need ESG data from Belalu as well. So they need to also to provide information to their customers. And then other parties are interested, like their employees, for instance. They would like to, of course, work for companies or for a company that is actually sustainable. So they're also looking for various ESG data. And that's really where the problem is, because, and I call it the reporting bingo. It's everyone is asking more or less the same information, but not exactly the same. And certainly in very different formats. And so that puts a lot of burden on Belalu because the sustainability manager at Belalu, who needs to respond to all of these requests for ESG data, well, what she sees is a piling up on her desk of spreadsheets that she needs to fill to comply with what the banks is asking, what their customers are asking, and so on. And so that creates a lot of burden and difficulties and extra work and a lot of bureaucracy to actually provide that ESG data. Well, there are three good news actually for Belalu. The first one is first of all, what if there was only one report to provide? Well, that's actually what the European Union is pushing with the VSME report. So the idea is that you fill one report, and that report can be used by many different parties, the banks, your customers, the regulator as well. So you fill one report. So that's the first piece of good news. There is actually standardization of the report, which is for small companies a VSME report, as it is called. It's voluntary SME reporting. There's also the ESRS report, but there is standardization in the report you have to produce. The second piece of good news is, and it's actually initiated by the banks in Belgium, is the idea that when you prepare as a company your sustainability information data in this unique report, then you can easily share it with many parties like the bank. And there is in Belgium an initiative that it's a partnership between Isabel Group and Karomia, where we are preparing a platform that's called the Kube ESG platform, where companies will be able to upload their reports, that unique report, and then we'll be able to share it easily with many counterparties. So that's a big simplification in data sharing as well. And then there's a third piece of good news, which is, well, you still have to prepare one report, and it can be a pretty involved undertaking given all of the facets and aspects of ESG, environmental, social, and governance, that covers many different facets of the operations of the company. But that's where Karomia comes in, because we're going to make this as easy as possible for the companies to, or we are making that as easy as possible for the companies to prepare that report. And I'm going to, for the remainder of the presentation, I'm going to talk more precisely about how we do this. It's actually quite simple. Karomia is a knowledge machine. So the idea is that Karomia collects all of the publicly available information about a given company, and the company itself can upload into the system also internal information, and that can be everything from their carbon footprint to invoices about their energy consumption, to the latest HR survey that they've conducted in their company, to their policies, and so on. They upload all of this information that's typically available, but it's available in many different formats. It's very fragmented across the company, but they upload this in the system in their native, and all of this comes as documents, and they upload it in the native format. Then they press a button, and then within Karomia there is an automated analyst that's going to go and pick from all of this information, public and private information, all of the facts and data that it needs to actually fill the report automatically. So the automated analyst goes through it and fills the report automatically with the information it was provided. And then there is also in the system an automated auditor. And the automated auditor, what it will do is actually look at what has been filled automatically and look at the specification of the standard that you're reporting with, like the VSME, for instance, which is a type of European standard. And what it's going to do is say, well, you know, there it's completed at 80%, there it's fully completed, there you're missing this data point, and give also some suggestions on how to actually complete the information. We have, of course, done this with many customers already, and typically with the information that they upload in the system, they get between 75% and 95% of the report completed before they even log into the system, thanks to this information. That's, of course, that does two things, right? It's actually boost the productivity when you prepare that report, and also enhance the quality of the report, and all of the information in that report is also fully traceable to actually the original document. So at Karomia we do this for VSME report, which is more for SMEs, ESRS reports, which are for larger companies. We also automate the double materiality assessment that some companies want to do. But enough of talking about it. I have here a little demo that to show you how it's done in practice. So what's happening here is, let's say our company, Belalu, they introduce their VAT number in the system, and then the system starts to calculate the report. So calculate the answers of the report, and of course the report starts first with the basis for preparation, the basic information. It's quite easy, of course, the address, but then it also can find from public information the list of subsidiaries. It can find financial information from the filing at the National Bank, for instance. All of this is done automatically. And then it moves on progressively and fills all of the elements of the reports, everything that it can find on the internet. For instance, something that we find quite easily is the list of sites that the company has, and it's quite important because you want to geolocalize those sites, because you want also to figure out if those sites are in protected area or in area where there are risks. And of course, there will be cases where, well, there is no information about some elements. Here it is actually the sustainability initiatives around biodiversity. Then the AI assistant will tell you, okay, you don't have initiatives. Do you want actually to suggest an initiative? Yes, it moves on. It's going to ask a few questions. What it's going to do as well, you're going to see in a minute, is go on figure out from companies that are competitors or working in the same sectors, some suggestions about what the initiatives could be, for instance, for Belalu. And then, of course, you can say, okay, we want to have this initiative. We want to have this initiative prepared. So here you go, and then it's going to be filled in the report. So this is an example of how the AI assistant can help the company to fill the report. The idea is to bring all of the information really together so that the person who fills the report has all of that information at his or her fingertip. I mean, another case, for instance, is, well, in the report today here, there is no information about the energy mix of Belalu. So what here the system suggests is, well, upload all your energy invoices to the system, and then what the system does is automatically compute the consumption of the different fuels or electricity and so on of Belalu, and also then compute the Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions of the company. You can review this, and then it helps you really to fill the report, so the numbers gets into the report. And then, yeah, I mean, it goes on like this through all the reports, so you really help to actually complete it, and then time passes, right, and the report gets completed. So when the report is 100% complete, then what the sustainability manager at Belalu can do is publish the report and say, okay, I push the report to the Kube platform, the exchange platform. I check this is all good, and then I elect to share it to actually the 4 major banks in Belgium, and then the banks will receive a notification that the report has been uploaded by Belalu. And then what you can do as well, for instance, is you have put all of this effort in preparing this comprehensive report. Well, what the system does as well is, if you don't have an ESG website, what the system can do, for instance, is prepare automatically an ESG website for Belalu, so that you can, it's not only about sharing this information with your banks or the financial institutions or your customers, but also to a broader audience like your customers on your website or your employees as well. So this website takes as an input the report that was composed by Belalu, helped by the system, and then creates automatically the website that they can actually redirect to from their own website. And with this, I think I need to go there. So with this, well, ESG should be a driver of clarity, not complexity or bureaucracy. So there's a few points here that we've made. First of all, sharing ESG data is a requirement to do business today. It's only going to increase. Non-financial reporting is very important for financial institutions, but all sorts of stakeholders as well. And it doesn't need to be painful. It doesn't need to be many different spreadsheets with different requirements that needs to be filled. If we use one standard, and that's where we are going, it doesn't need to be painful. And then, of course, using the right tool, the right technology, modern technologies, then you can really eliminate the bureaucracy that goes with it and really focus on the sustainability initiative. And with this, I'm happy to take questions.
Can everyone hear me correctly? Yeah, all right. So we just have one question, which is, how does it integrate with Odoo data?
With?
Odoo data.
Yeah, so today, not yet, but there is, in our tool, today you have seen we upload the invoices, right? But obviously what we're working on is actually creating those connectors with the various accounting or ERP systems to import the data automatically. That's a development. It doesn't do it today, but very soon that will be implemented.
So there's someone that's writing a question, so I'm just waiting for the rest of it. They say that it's great for individual legal entities, but what is it about consolidated data?
So typically, we do this for many. We have customers that are from SMEs to very large listed companies. And so typically we do the ESG report at the consolidated level. And it could be a holding company, or it could be a large company with many different legal entities. So we typically do this report that goes, if you want, it's parallel to the annual report essentially. So that's typically the same scope that we use. So now we have sometimes companies who have very different types of activities, and they want an ESG report that's different for these different type of activities, because they have different, I would say, ESG factors that matter or material for these different entities. Then what we do is we do it for these different entities, and then we can, of course, aggregate it into a consolidated report. So it's pretty flexible in that respect.
So is there then a full carbon footprint module?
Sorry?
Is there a full carbon footprint module?
It's not a full carbon footprint module. So what we see with our customers is that the larger customers typically do have their carbon footprint done by, they call it, carbon accountants, or with other types of softwares that are specializing in that. But what we see is there is a bit of a gap in the market for the smaller companies, because they are reluctant to go and pay, the amounts that it costs to actually do that in other softwares. And for the smaller companies, what we do is what I showed here, which is we take their invoices, information, and then we do scope 1, scope 2 emissions today, and very soon scope 3 as well in the system. But really today that applies for companies that are probably less than 100 employees, right? Relatively smaller companies where it's where they have a limited number of sites, of course, because if you go with the invoices, you can imagine that can be quite extensive as well.
Are you yourself using or going to use the ESG Odoo app?
I haven't looked at the ESG Odoo app, so that's a trick question, but I'm gonna have a look.
So can you say maybe a bit of the pricing model? How is it working right now?
Yes, certainly. So for larger companies, for companies that are not SMEs, so we have prices. It's a subscription, so it's an annual subscription that you pay, and we have prices for companies that are more than 250 employees that starts at 7,000 euro per year, and then it grows as you need more features. If it's an ESRS reports, of course, it has hundreds of data points and so on, so it's more expensive. And then for SMEs, then the prices can range from a few hundred euros per year to actually a few thousand euro per year in a subscription.
So I don't know if you can answer this regarding GDPR reasons, but do you have some clients that are already right now in Belgium? So that's a question about some clients.
We have about today we have about 70 customers. Most of our customers are actually more intermediate-sized companies, so above 250 employees, say, until pretty large companies as well. We have customers in all sectors. We have banks who are customers of us, but we have industrial companies in the food industry, and so on. So we cover a lot of the sectors, aviation, a lot of the sectors, because the technology applies to all of the sectors. And then we start now to have, of course, smaller companies as well, SMEs. That's the push that I illustrated here with the project that we do with Isabel Group and with the bank. So to put and the platform will be launched in November for SMEs. And so that's also growing. So we will be covering in Belgium companies in all sectors, from the smallest one to the largest ones. And we have also customers in the Netherlands and in France already, because these are European standards. So they apply to companies also outside Belgium.
No more questions right now, so it's all yours.
Okay. Thank you very much. Don't hesitate. I'll be around if you have more questions.